Hello, everyone. So, welcome back. I have a wonderful guest, and he has a new movie out. So, this is as if people don't know, but I'm sure they already know your cute little face. Markian Tarasiuk. Did I say it right?
Boom, you got it. Yeah.
All right. I do have Ukrainian students, but that does not mean that I've mastered how to say their names.
It takes a lot. It's like it's in the words, and like there's a lot of rolled R's. So like, my name can be Markian Tarasiuk is kind of like the Ukrainian pronunciation of it, but I don't like giving people a hard time because it's hard to say, and like that's years of an entire lifetime of Ukrainian for me. So
So,
yeah.
are you fluent in you're in what is it?
Ukrainian. Yeah.
It's Ukrainian. Are you fluent?
I'm not. I wouldn't consider myself fluent. I am. I went to Ukrainian immersion school, so
Okay.
between K to 6, I was speaking half the day in Ukrainian, and then it's kind of dropped off. So my peak Ukrainian came in about when I was 12, and it's been an uphill battle ever since. But I still do speak it. I can read it. I can write it. But like to hold a conversation in Ukrainian would be pretty tough for me. Just that's a lot of brain power that I don't quite have anymore.
Is it the first language for anyone in your family? Like maybe parents, grandparents, or something? Is it their first language or
Yeah,
and
it's my dad's first language. He grew up in a Ukrainian speaking household where my baba and did on his side didn't really speak English at all.
well,
So right until they passed away. So like I would always speak to my baba in Ukrainian, and then my dad. So my dad technically like English is a second language for him, really. And but my on my mom's side, she's second generation, so she grew up more with English, I would say, but still
right.
pretty Ukrainian. Yeah.
That's interesting. Very nice. I like learning about other cultures. So let's talk about now, people are like, tell us from the beginning, tell us about your acting journey. We don't have to do it that way if you don't want to. Just give us some highlights or whatever you would like to share, like how you even became an actor.
Sure, sure. Well, I went to acting classes as a kid that my parents kind of enrolled me in, and then I grew up acting for fun, really, until I was 14 when I got a professional gig at a. Well, I'm from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, so there's a big theater there called the Manitoba Theatre Center,
Yes.
and that's where I had my first professional role in this play called Over the Tavern. And I played this lead role, and it was kind of like through that process of rehearsal for weeks, and then like a 5 week run. So a long time I was doing that show that I decided that I wanted to be an actor. So I kind of decided at 14, went to theater school here in Vancouver for 3 years, and then have been working professionally ever since, mostly in the film and TV world. So I come from the theater, but my career has taken me to film and television, because that's kind of our bread and butter here in Vancouver.
Yes. Yes.
And so yeah, that's kind of been it, and just doing roles and what I can get ever since.
So 14, and for how long did the play run?
That play ran for like almost 5 weeks. Yeah,
So
so 8 shows a week.
what did you do for school? How did you work that out?
I did kind of homeschooling
Mhm.
during the rehearsal process because rehearsals were 9 to 5,
Sure.
uh,
Sure.
and so I'd have to do homework for 1 hour each of those days, and my teachers were kind. I did kind of feel that it was a bit of a vacation, to be honest. But I was a good student. Didn't drop any grades or anything. And then once the show opened up, I just had performances at like usually like an 8 p.m. start. So I'd go to school during the day, do the show at night.
So, okay, so after the play, did you do any more plays or you went right into film and TV or?
No, I've got a long resume of theater. So between like 14 and especially 21, I
Mhm.
was doing a couple plays a year, and musicals. And so yeah, I've done at this point probably close to 30 odd plays or so. Yeah, and the most recent one I did was in 2018 was the last time I was on stage. So it's been a while.
So do you sing? You said musicals.
I do sing. I do sing. Again, too, it's kind of like my Ukrainian. It's like I'd have to really get back into it. I haven't sang for a long time, but I took vocal lessons growing up, and then was involved in a lot of musicals. And again, too, if we're going back here, so my last musical I did was 2015. I did Billy Elliot, at the
Oh,
Manchester Theatre Center. So I went back to Winnipeg to do that show, and phenomenal, incredible experience. I played Tony, the brother of Billy, and just witnessing these kids, these phenoms, these 12-year-old boys were insane that they brought in from Toronto to play Billy. That was a really special experience. Yeah.
Cool. Now, what I like is, and I'm just going to talk briefly about something with Bridgerton. As a viewer,
Yeah.
there's an actor that's in Bridgerton, but he has this big theater background, and like he can say so much when he walks in the room with a look, one word, his body language, and it definitely comes from his theater experience.
Yeah.
And you were in a movie with Morgana Wiley just recently, and she loves theater, and she has a lot of experience. She's the same way. I love her.
Yes.
I love her. I want to see her in more movies. But when she walks into a room or when she has a conversation, and often she'll have be a secondary character, and the short amount of time that she's on screen, she has like such a big impact. So I appreciate those who have a theater background because it really makes for good acting on TV and film.
I hope so. I hope 3 years of training at a school 7 days a week would give us that at least. But I think it's more about, for me, like theater training. And because like literally like for 3 years, it's kind of like 7 to 10 hours a day. You are immersed in the world of theater and training, and it gives you such a good foundation. Where I think for me, that's why I went there, because I want to have a long career. I want the longevity, and I want the diversity of roles. And I'm such a proponent for theater training that if any actor was asking me, what do you want to do? I say, go to theater school. If you're serious about it, go to theater school. So that's kind of my attitude with it. Cause yeah, it trains you in a different way than film and television does if you were just doing film acting. And I'm not knocking, a lot of great film actors have come just from like straight talent and just but that's more rare. And yeah, I just believe it just kind of makes you a better actor. So thanks for doing that. Yeah.
I see it. That's my opinion. You know what? I think your co-star, I'll be chatting with her tomorrow. And all week I've been putting little things up on Instagram for the movie, which I'm so excited. By the way, let's plug it now. It's Welcome to Valentine this Saturday in the United States on the Hallmark Channel, 8:00 Eastern, 7 Central. How about Canada? Same time or?
Yeah, same time on the W network.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so and your co-star Catherine, she has a theater background. I mean, I think that if I'm not mistaken, she was even accepted into something quite prestigious, like a prestigious school. But we'll talk about that tomorrow.
Yeah, you'll talk about that. Yeah. No, she went to Ryerson, so maybe that's what she's talking about in Toronto. I went to Studio 58 in Vancouver, and the acting community, especially with theater schools, is quite small. So all of our schools are connected. There's competition, and same within the States. You've got Carnegie Mellon, you've got Tisch, you've got that NYU and Tisch, and you've got Juilliard, kind of same. Yeah. We're all of the same ilk.
Yeah. Which is wonderful. So, let's talk about your Hallmark history. I do know of 2 wonderful movies just this past Christmas you were in. One was the one with Beau Bridges. Oh my gosh. And Morgana Wiley. What was it like working with Beau, by the way?
Oh man. Well, it's just like, Beau's one of those guys working with that I haven't had an opportunity or the privilege to work with, where he's a legend, truly, like of Hollywood. Like the stories he was telling me about growing up in the industry in the 50s and 60s is just something that you don't come across.
Right.
Very, it's very rare. So to work with, what I would consider Hollywood royalty in terms of family, was just amazing. And it's so funny though, because the more professional kind of that you get, the less takes you need. And so he was so on it with every take. And because Hallmark schedules, if anybody knows, are pretty really intense and really quick, and we shoot them out so fast that you have to be like that. And to give like what I thought from Beau was such an emotional kind of full performance with that least amount of time, it just shows you how good he is. And like I remember when we did the table, the final dinner scene where he tastes the sauce for the first time, he would cry every take. And I was like watching him, I was like, I don't know how you're doing that. I don't know like for me, it takes a couple times to get into it and to like, he like would always just be like, let's roll, let's roll, let's roll. And he would just nail it. And so, yeah, it was really, really, really amazing to meet
And
him.
that would be our Italian Christmas memories. I love that movie. So I have a question. Do you have in your family like a special recipe for like a holiday, whether it be Christmas or whichever holidays you celebrate, like something with a secret ingredient or something special?
I mean, being Ukrainian, I guess, like, so I celebrate the Julian calendar
Mm-hmm.
Christmas on the 7th of
Yes.
January. And so, I mean, all of those recipes are very dear to my family. Specifically my mom's kutia, which is like wheat, barley, pearled wheat recipe, and it's kind of like an oatmeal that you start the
Yes.
meal with. And
Yes.
my mom's recipe is just killer. I love it.
Yeah.
So that's my mom, and then just kind of everything. You do the 12 traditional dishes, right? So there's 12 dishes at Ukrainian Christmas that you make, and my family has passed down from generations. And my mom and uncle actually took a project on last year and made a family cookbook. So I actually have in my possession a family cookbook that's been, from my great grandmother all the way down to me now. And it's all in this really nice coiled binded, all laminated, and it's beautiful.
That's nice. I love that.
Yeah.
So do you have time to cook or no?
I do a little bit. Do I have time to cook that intricately? No. when I cook for myself, it's pretty simple and sad. But I do cook, but not as decadent as my family when we get together, for sure.
Cool. And then you had the other really good, it was like different and unique, but really good. The Christmas at the Golden Dragon.
Yeah, another cultural mosaic of a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one dealt, like, I kind of like was joking. I did Christmas around the world this year.
It's true, you did.
Yeah.
Now, how were they filmed when you filmed them? Were they filmed like close to each other, or was one a year or months later, or how did it
Those
work?
two were simultaneous. So I was going to play Dr. Greg one, and then Blake in the other, kind of like switching days off. So I was on set at both times. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and the schedule worked out, and they worked it out. So, and Hallmark's great like that. So I was able to do both of them at the same time.
So when you took the parts, did you realize that the scheduling would run at the same time, or that was just a fluke and it happened?
It was kind of a fluke. I got Golden Dragon first, and then I knew my dates, because when you get signed on to do these jobs, they give you your dates that you can't book anything else on.
Mm-hmm.
And then the offer for Italian Christmas Memories came in, and I gave them my dates. I said, these are the ones I can't. I've already committed to Golden Dragon, and they said, we'll make it work. And so we'll just build it around what you're already committed to.
They wanted you.
Yeah, they wanted me. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to feel wanted. It's nice to feel wanted.
Yeah, I like it. Good for you. Now, are you and whatever you could talk about, but I think you have something else coming out soon. It has two names going on. I don't know if you're allowed to talk about it or how much. I know it's not with Hallmark, but it looks interesting. One time I think I saw it as something about Molly Ringwald, but then the next time I saw it has a slightly different name. Are you allowed to mention that or no?
Yeah, no, because it's coming out on the next day, on the 19th.
Oh,
so,
yay. Okay.
I'm in the middle of promoting that as well too. It's called Why Can't My Life Be a Romcom? And that's going to be on the E network in the States. So E is starting to build out their own original content in movies, really based in pop culture, and I think it's really, it's of today, it's current, it's a fun, snappy, witty, sexy movie. So if you can get my Hallmark on Saturday, and then come see a little something more risque on Sunday. So I invite everybody to watch both movies.
The E channel for us this way, right?
Correct.
Okay, that's cool. I'll mention that when this posts, I can put it in the description. Oh wow, look at you. So it seems like it's not that it's feast or famine, but as soon as you come out, you're like two Christmas movies now, two others back to back.
I know, that's just kind of been my year, and it's great that that they both happened. The same thing happened with my Hallmark movies. It was a Saturday and a Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing with the coming around. So I don't know. I've just been saying it's a conspiracy with all the networks. They like, let's put Markian on one weekend, and that'll be it for a while. For get your fill, and then we'll see you in a couple months.
Now, do you know what time on E? Is it 9 o'clock or you don't know?
I believe 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. Okay, we'll look. We'll
Yeah.
look. We'll look.
Yeah, we'll look.
And it's always good to watch live, but in case we can't, I will definitely go and I'll record it so I get to see it. So let's talk about this Valentine. Welcome to Valentine. So your character's name is George, right?
Yes.
Tease us a little bit about this George. Let's hear what you've got here.
George, we've got the classic big city boy from New York who has to drive this 1973 Cougar all the way to Los Angeles, and takes Olivia on the way, and we get stuck in Valentine, Nebraska. My car breaks down. And I think everybody can fill in the rest of what's going to happen in the movie.
Sure.
But George is I really, really love playing him. Fun, outgoing, goofy. Like, in terms of Hallmark lead, I think I'm going to bring something a little different to this one. A little more animated, a little more me. And not a big, small town boy. So there's going to be some butting heads. There's going to be, a lot of fun in that. And so
you're opposites. You and Olivia are opposites. She's small town, but she is in New York City, but it looks like she's going back, right?
Yes.
And you're going on this road trip. So am I correct in thinking that I saw in the promos, are you a mechanic? Is George a mechanic or no?
Yeah, like super into cars. Yeah. Okay. Like this 1973 Cougar has been passed down from generation to generation in his family.
Oh.
So car people are really, a mechanic and stuff. So, super passionate about cars. So, I mean, if you like cars, this is also your kind of movie. You get into a lot of mechanic jargon and scenes and stuff that happen in the shop. So, yeah.
Okay, that's cool. I mean, I think a lot of people, everybody likes a beautiful classic car.
Yes.
I mean, and so did you actually get to drive it?
I did get to drive it. It was a really difficult drive, to be honest, because it was a custom outfitted 73 Cougar that the owners made into a standard transmission.
Oh,
automatic. So they actually wanted the standard on it, and the clutch on that thing, I've never ever come into contact with a clutch that hard. I basically had to press down with everything in me to get that clutch to go. So it was a really difficult drive. So thankfully I only had to drive it one time. It's a stunt driver the rest of the time because the insurance wasn't stoked about me driving, as they never are. So, but I did get to drive it, and I actually did train. So for about an hour before we started shooting, I got to go out and take the car for a spin. So yeah, pretty thrilling.
Now, when there's movies that are, I hear a kickback in my voice. Sorry. When there's movies that are road trips and you're spending so much time, like so much of the storyline is in a car. Where are you? Like, are you actually on a road driving around? Are you on a back lot? Are you on some, place, some small town or highway that's been blocked off? How do you do that? How do you manage that?
Like in terms of the shooting of it?
Yes.
It was kind of all over the place. You'll see that most of the stuff we did were in a few locations in Ottawa, Ontario. And so I would have to drive up the car if we're on a street or going into a driveway for that part. So all those things are me driving it was all practical sets. There was no back lots or no studios for this. It was all on location sets. And so that's me driving, but then all the inserts you'll see, spoiler, that'll be the stunt driver when they're doing the big sweeping shots and they went out and shot that without the actors there. So they did that on separate days to kind of get those more road trippy looking scenes.
Pretty cool. Now, Valentine, Nebraska is a real place.
It is a real place.
Oh, yes. And me being me, I went and researched it and met the people of Valentine, Nebraska, and I had them on yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
And Whitney was amazing. She has a shop called the Broken Spoke and Boutique, and they're friendly with the mayor. The mayor's this young man who's also third generation cattle rancher, and he owns a bank, and he was busy, I think, with the kiddos coaching a basketball team, but he was on standby, and her husband was sending us messages and stuff. Anyway, it was so cool. The town is adorable. There's all kinds of really beautiful, cool history. By any chance, did you look any of it up because you knew it was real before you started, or did you rely on the directors?
No, I looked it up. I went to the town website. I
Yes.
looked it over. I looked up images. I saw everything. I kind of read through their official
Yes.
material and pamphlets, if you want to call them. So
Cool.
yeah, I looked it up, but I didn't talk to anybody specifically from the town. So in the way we portrayed it, it's exactly kind of just what you described. Just really good, solid of the earth, small town people,
Right.
which we all kind of had a feeling that that's what that place was. But
Right.
one thing we were wondering about is like in the movie we do a Valentine's Day parade, and I was like, well, does the town do a Valentine's Day parade? And no, they don't apparently.
They
So
don't.
they don't.
They don't, but they do celebrate Valentine in a big way. They do. With one of the things you can do is you can send all of your Valentines that you've written out, addressed and whatnot, put them in a big envelope,
Yeah,
mail it to them, and they will stamp and do this whole thing for you. And you could get packages from them, which is so cute. I
it's
know,
like
which I like.
that is very cute. It's like that town in Alaska that does all the North Pole stuff.
Yes, yes, it is.
Similar.
Yeah.
Hey, if you've got a shtick and you've got a niche as a town, I think you should take advantage of it.
I like it though, even though they didn't film there, that we're gonna get that feel. But that's Hallmark. Hallmark is so good with that small town story and feel. And I was saying to some of the people that were messaging me, even if it doesn't look exactly, I'm from a small town, but their town is like, I'm 5 times bigger. I'm almost 15,000. They're like not even 3,000.
Yeah,
But when you look at, I saw the promo, when you look at the shot of what it looks like, because there's the parade with the banner, and then you look at like the same angle in my town, and you look at the same angle in theirs, they all look the same.
yeah.
So we're going to get that feel, which makes it nice. But I like that you looked it up. Good for you.
Good. Yeah, of course, of course. That's my job. I'm an actor.
Now, where was it actually filmed? I know you said it was all over, but
Yeah, we were mostly in Ottawa, Ontario,
okay.
Canada, which is our nation's capital. And then we were in Almont, Ontario, which is about an hour north. So that's the small town you're going to see is Almont. Yeah.
Okay. And was it your standard, like little over 2 weeks kind of filming? Was it?
Correct. Yes. This one was the quickest one I've ever done. We did this one in 14 days.
Oh,
Yeah.
what do you think the viewers are going to like about this one?
I think the viewers are it's as cute as they come. I think this movie, like the scenes and what we tried to build out was really special in terms of the actors were really good, our cinematographer was really good, our director
Oh,
was really good.
nice.
Like so I think you're just going to see in terms of, and I will brag because it's my movie, a little elevated Hallmark movie, just in my opinion.
Mhm.
And I'm biased, but I think you're just going to get a little bit more of a honest, vulnerable feel from this one, where it's kind of when you watch the rom-com movies of like that I grew up with,
Mhm.
kind of the big feature film ones, they just make you feel like really fuzzy and warm
Yes.
inside. And
Sure.
this to do that in what I believe is like a really real way where it's not manufactured, or of course it follows a wonderful and the kind of stereotypical storyline, you could say.
Right.
No, but this one's just really heartfelt along the way, and I'm really excited to share it with everyone.
Which is good because I know I love Hallmark, and they've been changing things up a little bit in their storylines. And I love how after they change it up, they will then come back and bring you something that we know and love about Hallmark, and something like you're saying, where it's really about your relationship because you're in a car together. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Traveling along. And even though there are movies, I can think of many of them where the car breaks down, that kind of thing. We get it. But I remember, I think it was Joni Kane who had said this, and Joni Kane is a writer. She wrote the Christmas card, which I love, one of the best Christmas Hallmark movies ever.
okay.
she was on, we were chatting once, and she said there are only so many plots, right? And there's only so many storylines. However, it's what the actors bring to it and the chemistry of the actors that makes the story different. So, yes, yes, yes. I am so looking forward to this one.
Yeah, yeah. That's exactly it. Is just like I just think that everybody hit it out of the park on this one, and it's just gonna. I just know it's gonna look great because I've seen the footage,
Hmm.
and it's gonna make you feel great. So yeah.
Yeah. So, will you be watching and tweeting with us on Saturday or no?
Yeah, yeah, I'll be tuning in. I'll be around on Twitter. So if you want to tweet at me and give me your thoughts and feelings, I love when people tweet at me, and I do see them. If I don't reply to all of them, they do come into my inbox there. So yeah, it's really a lot of fun.
And then Hallmark Channel joins in too, and we'll retweet, our comments, and maybe we can get it trending, which would be so cool. What is your name on Twitter?
It's half my first name, half my last name. So I'm at Mark Taras.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We'll be on the lookout for that. Do you know? I know that the one hashtag is just the movie itself. Welcome to Valentine. Do you know if there are any other official hashtags?
Not that I've heard of. I think that'll be the one. It's a little long, right? But I think it's just going to be Welcome to
That's
Valentine.
okay. That works for us. I think. Are you doing with Ashley? Do you have your live coming up? Usually it's like on a Thursday or Friday. Do you think they'll be posting that Facebook Live for Hallmark?
I haven't been contacted to do one. So
You didn't do one?
no, I didn't do one. I didn't know they didn't reach out for us. So maybe if you guys tweet at them, we can do one, me and Kat. But as far as I know, we're not going to be doing one, unfortunately.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad that we're doing this. This is a good thing. This is good. All right. So before we look at all these little comments, the cute comments and questions that everyone has, I'm gonna star some things. Sorry, I seem distracted, but I don't want to miss it. I have some fun questions for you.
Sure.
What I consider fun, but I didn't want to put you on the spot, so I made sure you were prepared. So one is a Valentine question, and it was, what do you think is like a really good romantic song?
I think like one of my favorite songs, and it's romantic, but it's also sad. But I think romance and sadness
Yeah.
can go together.
Yes.
Clouds by Joni Mitchell. Yeah, so it's super, and it's sad, but it's also there's something so romantic, and she talks about kind of love gone by a little bit, and that's
Yeah.
kind of the thesis of that song. So that's one of just the most romantic songs to me. Yeah.
Is there any music in this one in the Welcome to Valentine?
In what way? What do you mean? Like,
I mean like a song, like I'm not that I'm asking for spoilers, like are you gonna dance or something, but often and lately they've had an actual like song.
right? Not in this one. No.
No?
More the cars and the
Okay. That's
bleach and the grit in this one.
do you fight over the music in the car? You know how people get mad on the state with the station?
Yeah, there is a little bit of that kind of fight. Yeah, where my character wants to listen to podcasts, and everyone's sick of podcasts.
Oh, okay. Okay. I love it. I love it. That's cute. Now, if you're going on a road trip, where do you hope you're going?
Well, I'm about to go on a road trip, so I'll just mention that, and I'm doing down to California. I'm doing the kind of like north to south California coast road trip at the end of the month. So that's where I hope to go, and that's what I'm going to do. And it's just a beautiful drive. And what you love about it is you go from cold to just hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter as you go down. So when you arrive, it feels like paradise. It's been a lot winter here.
What do you do with your clothing? Do you like just crank the heat up and like do you wear something cool and just crank the heat up until you get there and then put the air on, or you just change along the way?
Change. It's like layers. You just slowly take off layers. It's just
That's smart.
And then eventually you get into the shorts, and
Right.
Okay. So I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah.
I know a lot of people do road trips because either one, they don't like to fly, or two, they have pets that are coming with them. But I just think that when you go and you take an actual road trip, it's like an adventure. And there's like so many things you see along the way that aren't touristy. And I love when you take a stop somewhere and you ask the locals and they're like, this is the tourist place, but this is what you should try. And I think that's like the best part.
I grew up on road trips, so I love road trips. My family was really, my parents were really lucky to, well, I was really lucky. We went from Winnipeg, which is like right in the center of Canada. We went to all the way to Victoria, British Columbia, so on the west coast, and back one summer. And then the next year we went to Prince Edward Island and back one summer. So they were 2 8-week trips simultaneously in summers. So I've spent hours and hours in a car.
Yeah. Do you ever get when as a kid, did you ever get that fever in the back where you got in trouble?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Did I have meltdowns? Oh yeah. Like 8 hours for an 8-year-old in the back is pretty crazy. Luckily I had a Game Boy. I had a little mini DVD player, but even then that can only get you so far.
I know now we all install, if you have little ones, on the back in the back of your, headrest, you install their own little iPad, which gets movies on and you can click and then entertain them that way, and then they conk out.
Yeah. They got it easy these days, they tell you that.
Yes.
Not so much in my day when I was going on the road.
I know, but they still fight. My mother was the best. She'd get her hand, I don't know how she got her hand back there, but she'd get her hand back there and go, she didn't care what she was slapping or hitting, and you're all like trying to go to the sides of the back seat.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, me and my sister had some fights. I mean, the stories. But along with all that, just incredible memories is what I remember from those road trips. Yeah.
I know. Oops. So I'm excited for your road trip it's Olivia, right? That's the female lead name.
Yes.
George and Olivia are going to find romance in a car.
We're going to find it. We're going to find it. It's somewhere.
In a fancy car.
Yes.
Okay, so let's look at some of these comments. And I don't know if we have any questions along the way. There were just some cool things that I highlighted. Jan says, I have seen Markian in several Hallmark movies and have really enjoyed his performance. And I believe he will go far in his career. P.S. Can we fit him into When Calls the Heart? Oh, you know what When Calls the Heart is?
Yes, of course I know what When Calls the Heart. It films out here in Vancouver. I have a couple of very good friends on that show.
You do? Well, Aaron used to be on it, and I saw that isn't Aaron in the movie that premieres on Sunday? Isn't that? Yes.
And my dear friend Loretta Walsh is on that show as well too.
Oh my gosh, Loretta's the best.
That's the last play I did was her and I on stage together. So
oh my God, she's amazing. I love her. She's a good.
She's incredible. Yeah,
excellent actress.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've auditioned maybe twice for When Calls the Heart, and it didn't work out for me. So I don't know. You guys get on the tweets and just let me know. When Calls the Heart, of course I'll be there.
I mean, I'll just, go with my connections. But I have a question. Actually, you have some friends, I think. I saw Sarah she was following you. Sarah, who works on the set. She follows you. I don't know if you know each other. She likes all your stuff. She's
Sarah, which Sarah?
She's a set director or set decorator.
Oh, wait, Sarah Mobberly?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So Sarah and I went to school together at Studio 58. And then her and I worked theater, and I was producing theater, and she was my designer and my stage manager for a few shows. So her last show she did before she went to When Calls the Heart was my show called The Shipment. And so that was her last theater gig before she went off to the big times. And I'm so happy for her. She's the best. And her and I, producing theater is a large job, and her and I went through the mud together. So I love Sarah.
So there's your connection, and she works directly with Peter DeLuise. She's always doing the sets and those two. So there's your connection. We got to get you on. Are you allowed to let us know, was there a specific character that you auditioned for or wanted to?
I couldn't tell you. I would have to go deep into my inbox in my email. I don't know. This was years ago. I haven't auditioned for years for that show. So it was early on. I'd say maybe 5 or 6 years ago.
Oh, I was wondering if maybe when they were casting the 2 new leading guys that were coming in, if maybe it was one of those. It could be.
Could have been.
Could have been. Chris is saying, are there a lot of acting schools in Vancouver?
There are a lot of acting schools. So I went to Studio 58. If you're looking that was a college. Then there's the program at UBC. So at the University of British Columbia, there's a theater program, and also Simon Fraser University has an acting program, and then Capilano University. So all the universities here have
Wow.
program. There's a lot, and then on top of that, there's also the Vancouver Film School, which is quite a film acting program. So yeah, and then amongst there, then I can name about 10 more acting schools like for film that are just like weekly classes. But yeah, there's a ton.
Cool. I mean, there's a lot. It's like almost like, I don't know, Hollywood.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
It is. Chris says, how are you with accents?
You know, I'm not great. I'm going to be honest with you.
Okay.
So when I did Billy Elliot, I had to do a Northern English accent,
Mm-hmm.
which is like that Billy, and it's like all like your mum died and like down here, kind of Scottish almost.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me 2 months of training to get that accent right.
Yeah.
And so I can do accents, but I need warning and I need training. I can get there, but just off the top of my head, I'm pretty bad, to be honest. I just don't. Some people have a natural thing for it, and I just don't. I wish I did. Some people just do.
That's
But
right.
I can get there. So if I get a role and I know a couple weeks out, I can definitely get that. It's all about, yeah.
Jan says a family cookbook. That's wonderful. All my family recipes are on index cards.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's how most of them are. And they were on index cards until we put it into the book. So yeah.
And then she's also saying that she's like, wow, she cannot imagine that you did two different parts at like the same time.
Oh yeah. It was really, I was really lucky to do that. Yeah.
By any chance, I know you're a professional, but by any chance, did you get any lines mixed up or no?
Not really. I mean, like, no. Because
they were two different characters. Yeah.
Characters, and you just kind of get into the zone.
Get into the zone. 14 days sounds intense. How exhausted are you after that type of schedule? Looking forward to see you in the movie, by the way. And this is Gloria.
Hi, Gloria. It's this one intense because like our call time would be like 7 a.m. So I'd have to be picked up at about 5:30. And then we would finish around 7 or 8 or 9 o'clock and then do it again and do that for basically 14 days straight. So by the end, definitely like I was zonked and came back to Vancouver. I got my flight home and like passed out, I think, for 14 hours, like after that shoot, and needed some time to recoup.
Yeah.
Just because like, and like the thing about shooting is when you get into that, you have to be on as an actor. If you're tired, it doesn't matter. And you're not tired in the scene. So I pump myself full of coffee, try to like get as much sleep during lunch breaks or like time, I take naps throughout the day and just try to like work through it. And yeah, this one was specifically tiring for sure.
Needed a little break afterwards, but that's okay. Robin says, thank you, Markian, for all the details of how things are done behind scenes, etc. And I find that so fascinating as well. And it's true. That's why people love tuning into the podcast, because then they hear all of this and then they bring a different set of eyes and more of appreciation when they watch it.
Yeah, it's nice to know the like kind of the background, how these things are made. Eh? Yeah.
What great career to date. Way to go. And can't wait to see you in all of the upcoming movies.
Thank you, Robin.
You've got a fan.
I love it. Thank you, Robin.
Oh, this is cute. Robin saying, I think everyone in Vancouver as actors knows about When Calls the Heart, which is awesome.
Yes. Yeah. It's like that. The former Supernatural.
Yes.
The former Once Upon a Time are kind of the bread and butter of the Vancouver actor scene. So we all audition for it. Everybody auditions for these shows. And like, you'll see the same faces all the time on the Vancouver film shows. Yeah.
That's cool. All right. This has been wonderful. You'll have to come back as you do more.
This was great. Thank you.
And we'll chat more. And we are definitely going to be tuning in. We will tune in to see you and Catherine on Saturday at 8 for Welcome to Valentine. And that's on the Hallmark Channel. And then it's also in Canada on the E channel, right?
On the W network.
The W network.
And Why Can't My Life Be a Romcom Sunday on the E.
That's 8. I'm sorry. And I know that. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's all good.
W. We know that. What I forgot. What does W stand for? Are we were.
Uh, Women's.
That's what I thought. Yeah, I thought it was something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, the Women's
Okay.
Network. All right.
Very nice. All right. Well, you have a good evening.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And
All right, everyone.
give everyone a wave.
Bye.
Bye. Good night.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Thank you so much, Roxanne and Markian, for a great podcast. You are welcome. So if you want to stick around, I hope everything works out. Let me just check over here, if you don't mind, my email. The car wrangler is supposed to pop on and tell us a little bit more about the car. It has some fascinating storyline to it. He can share, like, I think it belongs to a relative of his, and he can talk to us about exactly, like, if he's driving it and the car itself. I don't know, especially if you like cars, because the car is a character in the story. And I'm not sure if in the movie it has a name, but the owner has named her car, which is kind of cool. Let's see. Does anyone have any questions for me? This might be a chance, like, I'm going to wait for a few minutes. It might be a chance for you to go to a bathroom break, get a drink, come back, that kind of thing. He's supposed to be on around, let's see, any minute now, 8:45. We'll see. If it doesn't work out, it's okay. I want to show you the car, though. I'm going to add it to the stream right now. You can kind of see it, like, in the background. It's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous car. And there are, I think, a couple other photos that were shared with me, but I don't want to show them unless Matthew, he's the car wrangler, unless he's here. And they were shared with me not through Hallmark, but actually from the owner of the vehicle, which is kind of cool. All right, give me a minute. I don't like to have, what is it, like dead air, like when you're on the radio, but I do want to take a quick look. I'm going to take this off and see if I have any messages. And I'm just going to check right away. All right. And I was worried when we first started that my internet wasn't going to work. I hope it wasn't glitchy. All right. Oh, Matthew. Oh, here he is.
Hey, how's it going?
You're on time. You are on time, let me tell you. How are you?
Not too bad. How are yourself?
I'm okay. I was just showing everybody this Hallmark picture where you could see the car in the background. Yeah. Okay. So, Matthew, how are you?
Not too bad. How are yourself?
I'm okay. And you have the title of car wrangler, which I have to tell you, since I started doing this, I've heard of horse wrangler. Then there was a butterfly movie, and there were actual butterfly wranglers. And now we've got car wrangler. What does that mean exactly?
Well, it's just my responsibility to take care of the cars on set. So I guess in this case, for this movie specifically, I was mainly taking care of the car that you just showed.
Mm-hmm.
It's the 1972 Mercury Cougar. And there's a couple other cars on set too that I got to drive and had to fix. Like, I have to, if they're all old cars, that's used pretty often in movies. So you have to fix them pretty often. And I'm the guy for it, I guess.
So now, while they're filming, and Markian did say he did actually get to drive the car, but while they're filming, are you around, behind, in the back, or does someone always have to? Okay.
Yeah, I'm there.
So you're in what, the back seat?
So
is there a back seat? I don't know about that stuff.
There is a back seat.
Okay.
No, I didn't end up going in the back seat. So when I believe Markian mentioned that there was like seat cuts or whatever that were someone driving, and that was all me. So anytime a vehicle was driven in that movie, it was pretty much me. Yeah.
So you're also, like, I think he called it a stunt driver, but I mean, is that the same thing as a car wrangler?
Maybe in this movie, I guess. I'm not too familiar with the term either. That's kind of just what I would refer to as.
Yeah. Now, So you had to repair on the spot the cars. Like,
Yeah.
what would happen to them that you would have to like? Because I'm thinking you're outside. What if you don't have everything you need? Like, you probably have to be clever.
Yeah.
What happens to them?
Well, I had to bring a lot of tools with me because I have my own cars, obviously, including the 1972 Cougar, and I just have to be prepared for everything. So I just bring all the tools that I think I'll need because a lot of those old cars all use the same sort of technology. So you don't need any very specific tools, especially for like on the spot fixes. Because I recall there was a day even where the car broke down and we had to take it back to the shop and I had to fix it there. And like there was that's like more like taking out the transmission and stuff like that was that was one of the things that happened. But there's a lot of on-site fixes that I had to end up doing, and it's actually pretty funny that you ask because on one of the sites that we filmed at, there happened to be a lot of just car parts everywhere, and a
lot of mishaps.
Yeah, a lot of just random car just near where we were filming, and I was able to find a part to fix one of the vehicles featured in the movie. Like a radiator hose blew up and the radiator cracked, so I had to fix it with sealant and then put a radiator hose on it. And yeah, I found all the parts I needed there, and I don't know, that's kind of the thing that you have to do when you're a car wrangler is just be prepared to fix things on the fly, I guess.
Now, the car I don't know if in the movie it does, but is it common to name a car? Like people who have these classic cars, they name them. That the real name of that car is, what is it?
Sunshine.
Now, is it named because if they're authentic, in the storyline, they should have a name for it too. Is it named in the storyline?
Yeah.
It is. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it the same or is it something different?
It's not the same.
Okay. All right. You don't have to tell us anymore.
Yeah. There
might be a story behind it. So who knows? So how do you come up with a name like Sunshine? How is that the real name of that car, Sunshine?
So this specific car was like a car that my mom really wanted. So she ended up getting it. Like getting the car, I just like fix it for her, and the engine stuff is all me.
Okay.
But my mom calls it Sunshine because sunshine after a rainy day makes you happy.
Oh, that's okay. That's cute. I like that. Yeah. Now, how in the world does someone go out and find a car like that and put it in a movie? Do you know how your mother was contacted, or does she contact people or put it out there?
So in this case, what happened was we met a guy. It's Scott Bassarab. He's the transportation manager of the movie.
Okay.
We just met him through personal interaction, and then he ended up seeing that we had that car, and he's like, "Oh, I'll keep it in mind for movies in the future or whatever." And a couple days later, he says, "We need a nice old red car and we should come check it out." So he came and checked it out and everything worked out that way. But I don't know, that I feel like that's kind of an inefficient way of finding cars. But
who knows?
You just meet people, right?
I was just going to say, it's like a network and you have a conversation, and then before you know it, then so I mean, which is kind of pretty cool because it was like meant to be. Now, car wrangler, does that mean that that's an official title? You could be credited, and now people will be looking for you to work on other movies. Is that something you're looking to do?
I definitely could. I don't know if I deserve the credit necessarily. Like I don't know. Like I don't know. I didn't for me, it was such an amazing experience that I was actually just happy to be there. Like it was a good time. Like the whole production crew, everyone, it was like literally almost like a family thing. Like it was
which is nice.
Yeah, no, it was really nice being there. So I don't know if I'm going to be credited. I definitely could be. Their car wranglers are credited all the time, and especially movies related to cars. As Markian even said, this movie, the big part of it is the car.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Well, I'm telling you, you should be credited because every time there's a movie, I look at all the different parts and I look for cool things like the set director because all of that makes a difference in a movie. It's not just about the actor. It's the lighting, the cinematography, all of that. And it's so fascinating and interesting when they get to be guests and they get to share their skill. So I remember early on when I first started to teach and I was able to, and it was my passion, which seems to, this is your passion. And this is me giving you a lecture. I don't want to give you a lecture, but I hear my voice. When you first do something and you're just so excited and you're like, I'm just happy to be here. Don't underestimate your skill. Like, I think if you did this and you were so involved, you should do it again and do it more. So you should get that credit, put that on the database, and then we'll see you in more movies wrangling cars.
Hopefully.
Yes. Yes. Now, is there anything else that you wanted to share, a fun fact or a detail about the car or your experience before I show you some questions and some comments people are making? By the way, I didn't have an opportunity to tell you, but it's in the upper right-hand corner where it says comments. If you click it, do you see that? You can see what people are saying.
Yeah.
Yes. So did you have something else you wanted to share that I may have missed or we should be on the lookout for when the movie premieres this Saturday at 8?
Maybe, I don't know if there's anything that I am allowed to say about that sort of stuff, but I will say, because I was watching when Markian was talking.
Mm-hmm.
Really humble about his driving. He's actually really good. I was the one that had to teach him how to drive standard, and he was awesome. Like, he actually didn't have any issues. He shouldn't. Yeah, he was fine. He was perfectly fine. Honestly, he could have done the driving in the whole movie. I think maybe he thinks of himself a little bit less than, but he was really good. He was actually, like, I've never seen someone just be able to hop into a standard transmission car and drive. So.
Wow, impressive. So I have a question. How long, how old were you when you started to actually work on vehicles or cars?
As long as I can remember, I've been driving and working on vehicles since I could walk.
So who is it? Someone in your family or a neighbor or was it all you who did this tinkering and learning?
I think my main interest was through my grandfather, because he fixed a lot of small engines for us. Like, I think the first engine I ever worked on, I was just, playing in the backyard, and my grandpa comes over and tells me, "Here, hold this." Like, it was like something, the carburetor float or whatever, or just on a small engine for like a pressure washer or something. And ever since then, I've been working on cars and just kept going, I guess.
That's pretty amazing. I know Zippo. I know how to change a tire. Okay. I can change a tire. And I have to tell you, but not many people care about this, but I have to tell you that, like, in the past 5 years, I have had, and it's nails and whatever, I've had 6 flat tires. That's kind of strange. Yes, in 5 years. I just had one not too long. I don't know. I'm like the magnet for nails. And I'm just driving up and down the road. I'm not driving. One time it was a bolt. I'm not driving in a construction area. I don't know. But anyway, this is not about me. Let's share some love for you here. What's Jan saying over here? She says, so the car doesn't belong specifically to you, but I'm guessing you are a top-notch mechanic. And I think you clarified that. The car belongs to your mother, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she trusts you to take care of it.
Yeah. And so were the other cars featured in the movie too. None of them belonged to me. I just had to fix them.
So the other cars, are they just regular vehicles? They're not big parts of the storyline, or are they big parts of the storyline?
They're not necessarily big parts of the storyline, but there is multiple other older cars that I needed to drive, and
Okay.
functional vehicles.
That's
So
cool.
yeah, and I
That
needed
makes
to fix
sense.
them. Like for example, the one I was talking about earlier that I needed to fix.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I can. I wasn't seen anywhere, so it. But yeah, I had to fix other cars. Yeah.
And that makes sense because the character is into cars. So his
Yeah.
character George, he
Yeah.
really likes cars. So that would make sense that you had other vehicles. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see this because that just adds another little flair that's different to the story. So we have Gloria. She says, for those classic cars, which are privately owned, there must be an extra level of care required, which everyone is aware of. All that responsibility sounds a little unnerving.
Yeah. Oh, it is unnerving. And the owners, there's a lot of, I think all of the cars that I ended up working on were all privately owned. And
Okay.
so Scott, as I mentioned earlier, he would always message them and make sure they were okay with, like we would let them know what happened and what needs to be done. And Scott would take care of all of that. He's really quick with it too. He'd make sure the job gets done. And then if we needed, like, let's say we needed a specific car to like film with on a specific time, something goes wrong, they're old cars, it happens, then, Scott sends a message and then I can go fix it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All on the up and up. Let's see. This is interesting because I didn't think of this. This reminds me of like when you're in the air in a balloon, you have that truck riding along with you to make sure the hot air balloon, nothing goes wrong when it lands. You're there to help. Did you have a tow truck following as well as you were going along, or no?
No,
Wow.
not while we're filming or anything. We didn't really need a tow truck, but I guess you'll see in the movie.
Okay, good. And I didn't mean that was in the storyline. I was just thinking behind the scenes kind of thing.
Yeah. No, there wasn't a need for that. I think I did a pretty good job on keeping the cars running enough.
Good. That's good. Robin is saying that she loves the name Sunshine.
Well,
And
yeah.
see, Jan says, you mentioned that you had to take out a transmission. I've recently had a transmission replaced in one of my cars. It took several days. Were there any schedule changes, in the production because of it or due to that?
No schedule changes. I just happened to get lucky and I had, so they weren't filming on weekends and it happened, like the issue occurred on a Friday. So I was able to have that evening and the rest of the weekend to work on it. It didn't take me the rest of the weekend to do it, but yeah, I just had to replace something in there. It was,
okay.
Yeah, just
And
on the
I
part
think,
of Napa,
But I think that's kudos to you because you saved them to have to make a delay because delay is money and everything else. So good.
Absolutely.
Very nice. So Robin's also saying, absolutely, when I was telling you that you have a talent, a good skill, remember I was giving my lecture. She says, absolutely, you should be as a car always needed to work. And without you, it wouldn't have. So thank you for your talent as a mechanic. And she's 100% agreeing with me. I like when people agree with me. You're my new favorite friend, Robin. And Christina has a question for you. She said, or Chris says, how can you be driving when they are filming in the car? Oh.
So I don't believe there was any scenes where they were filming in the car while it was moving.
Okay. I got you.
So they weren't filming inside of the car. Although whenever there was a scene that I was driving, it was usually, the lighting or the sun. You can't see me driving the car.
Okay, that makes sense. All right. Yeah, you're like the car stunt person. Let's see. Chris says, do you pretty much stick to older vehicles and not all the high-tech computer stuff?
No, I do all vehicles. I have my own car. I love it. It's a 2004 350Z. That's a little bit newer. It's got more technology in it. A lot of the time, the computer likes to tell me what's wrong with it, and I don't know if I prefer that or not. But I work on all cars.
Oh, you have a love of cars. I love it. When you were a kid, did you have Matchbox cars?
Oh yeah.
Did you have Legos and put things together and take them apart?
Yeah, that's actually funny. Emma, she was the assistant director. Emma actually asked me that too. She's like, did you play with Legos a lot when you were younger? And I was like, why? And yeah, no, I did. Yeah.
Yeah. It's that kind of hands-on-y
Yeah.
type thing. That's amazing. I love that. And this is a great, great comment to end with. She says, I love seeing such an industrious young person. She's giving you a compliment.
Thank you.
So Matthew, this has been great. I hope that you are going to be the car wrangler on some other movies and that
Hopefully.
you'll come back and you'll share some details. Now that's all behind the scenes. Do you have any hopes or wishes or dreams of being in front of the camera?
Yeah, I would love to. I'd love to be in front of the camera. I feel like I have a lot of talents, you know.
Yeah.
I can, you know, I can do anything. I can do anything.
Now, are you from the area? Are you from Vancouver or where is it that you're from?
I'm from Carleton Place, Ontario, which is literally right next to Almont. Like I believe Markian even said that there's a lot of filming done in Almont. So everything was like down the street for me. Like we actually filmed some stuff, like some driving. I don't think Markian ended up being on those sets, but we did some driving in Carleton Place. We did driving in Kemptville, Ottawa. Yeah, all around. So people from, you know, the area will know, but yeah.
That's amazing. That's nice. So we're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna say good night and then stay on, and I'll say good night to you in behind the scenes when we end the broadcast. So Thank you, Matthew.
No problem.
I'm sure you got some new fans. Wave to them. Thank you, everyone. Don't forget to catch Valentine. Welcome to Valentine on Saturday at 8 in the States, 7 Central, 8 Eastern, and then it's on the W, which is in Canada. And then also Markian is in a movie on Sunday on the E channel, which is something I'm sorry, I got this part wrong because they switched the name so many times, but it's I Wish My Life Was a Romcom, or Why Is My Life a Romcom? Something close to that. That'll be fun.